It's going now, Sean. So check it
out. You're ingesting right now.
Should be ingesting right now.
I gotta go find it now. All right, Jesus.
Stream status.
Live now, Sean. It should be live. I think.
I need the linky. Hang on.
Yep,
live?
There you go.
Nope. Live now. I see
We're
it.
live.
We're actually live. Oh, we are live.
Boom. There you go. So did you have to hit your buttons or no? Or did it just go?
I did not have to hit my buttons. It went perfectly.
Oh, it's perfect.
So all I need is that key then. As long as I have the key then.
That's
so
all I need is the key. I'm not nervous anymore.
So every time you set up your events, you send me the new key and then boom.
Yeah.
Good to go.
The stream health is good. What's up
awesome.
in chat? I uploaded the Mark and K-Dub and everybody's
effing audio. Hang on. There we go.
All right. Well, what's up, stream? How's everybody doing, man?
Everybody in chat. Branson, Hobo, Funny Kid, Time Splitter.
Funny
What's going on, everybody?
Yep. I'm actually going to pause it. I don't care.
I need to do...
We have General Pope Bear on today from the DCP, Destiny Community Podcast.
I got a promotion. I'm you always go with the general. Right.
You've been promoted to General Pope.
Yeah.
General Pope.
Just a little while ago, I was a private, on a pirate ship.
Well, you were a PFC. You're a private first class.
Sea of Thieves, man.
I was manning the sails and throwing puke on my shipmates.
Does it actually? You know what? For me, Pope, it actually makes me seasick.
Hey, Greg.
I'm somebody who I don't get seasick. I can play VR and have no issues. But for some reason, playing Sea of Thieves, like, within 30 minutes, I'm like, it just gives me a headache. Like,
no, I'm telling you, I've since I was little, I was prone to motion sickness, and Sea of Thieves makes me motion sick.
Yeah, it's weird. It's odd.
I was below deck patching up the ship, and we were in a gunfight, and I'm running up the stairs, being tossed around, and I'm like, I told Patrick, I'm like, man, I can't. It was great.
I think it's the motion of the sea constantly, and maybe it's just even the field of view. But then I also think it's almost frustrating at times. It kind of puts me over. I think the fact that you have to do the sail and then do this, and then you're turning this boat one way and then you're turning back the other way. I'm like, why is this so difficult? Even though it's fun and I understand the co-op part of it, it just starts to kill me after a while, man.
Here we go.
So I had the 14-day trial of the Game Pass, and I was just like, you know what, man, no. I almost bought it too, but I'm kind of glad I didn't right now. I'll see. The game has tons of potential, but I don't know. I think they got to add a lot more to it to keep me going. So.
Well, it doesn't. It honestly would not be fun for me if I wasn't with, my friends.
With your friends, exactly, man.
Chris 3711. Thank you, sir. Let me send this to Beverly real quick.
Yes, live. We're live right now.
Live. Well, that one. Now I'm not nervous. I was so nervous with the whole ingestion settings.
Take a breath, Sean. Take a breath.
Your ingestion is okay now.
Yeah, I don't have indigestion.
Yeah, I was just gonna say you don't have indigestion now, Sean. So you should be all right.
Yeah. Sweet.
All right, we got a good show in store for you guys tonight. I'm gonna tweet out here that we're live real quick here, then we'll we'll get rolling here.
Hang on, I got 92 windows up going right now.
Yeah, that's good for you.
I got 92 windows, but
Skype ain't one.
If you're running that old Skype, it won't be one. But
yeah, my gosh.
It is.
All right, there we go.
Windows did two things really badly. Well, they've done a lot of things.
Only two things really badly.
They created Microsoft Edge, which they keep trying to push people towards, and is the shittiest web browser known to man.
It is.
And they absolutely foobarred Skype.
They really did foobar Skype. I will agree with you on that.
They took the old version off. You can't find it anywhere. You have to have had a local version of it.
Right. All right, so now go to this. Minimize that.
All right, you all right over there?
I just love spamming emojis constantly.
So
you gotta get to change them. Thanks, Giovanni.
Hey, how do I put my emoji in there just to do something?
You got to be a sponsor.
Yeah, you got to pay some money there, K-Dub.
Fine, never mind.
It's only $4.99 a month.
Come on, K-Dub, you got it.
Like Twitch, man. Same
That's right.
thing. Hey, Leland.
But all right, guys. Well, let's get rolling here. We're glad to have Pope here with us. Definitely, it's episode 246. We have lots to talk about. Patch 1.1.4 is out. The Go Fast updates. We're going to be diving into that as well as some other great conversations here with Pope. So, you guys ready?
Ready.
All right, so here we go. Guardian Radio, episode 246. Welcome everyone to Guardian Radio, the first and longest running Destiny podcast on the net. I am your host, Mark Turcotte, and joining me this week, first up from inside his closet, K-Dub. K-Dub, what's up, dude?
What's up, everybody? Really happy to have Pope on, man. I've only got to hang out with him a few times. Once, the last time was in LA at the D2 reveal.
Nice.
We were hanging out and talking to Fran and those guys about their interview with the Bungie peeps, and we had a lot of good times, and it was a lot of fun. That was probably the most fun I've had in gaming in my career was that D2 reveal. It was just so much fun. There was so much enthusiasm, even though things went the way that they did. There was so much enthusiasm with what happened with D2. It was a lot. It was really, really exciting, and I'm really happy to have Pope here. It's gonna have fun. We're gonna talk about some meta stuff.
Yes.
And some guns and some
Lots
things.
of meta stuff.
It's gonna be fun. Yeah, let's do this.
That's great. That's right. And that other voice there, our King of Queens, Mr. Mesa Sean. Sean, what's up, man?
What's going on, guys? Yeah, I've been glued to PvP, man. It feels like it did last summer when my close childhood friend, shout out to C Minnow, he and I, at the end of Destiny 1, all we would do is play PvP every night. We'd play skirmish. He hates hunters. That's all he would talk about is squirrely hunters. And it feels like we're back to that again, where literally all we want to do is play PvP now because it feels fun again,
Yep.
Like I'm not limited to using the same things over and over. I haven't touched auto rifle since 1.14, and it's the same thing with PvE. Is I feel like there's a million things I get to use now that I never really like. Thank God, K-Dub, I hoarded everything in the vault, brother.
Yeah, I'm so salty about that, bro.
I did my top 5 kinetic and top 5 energy. There's so many weapons I pulled out, like that Legal Action 2 from New Monarchy. Oh my God, it's a high impact pulse with
Sean, I know we got lots to talk about. Let's hold it, man. Let's hold it. We got meta talk. We got a special guest here.
I'm very excited about 1 point. I'm very excited about this update.
I know you. I can tell you're excited. As many people here in the community are. But joining us here, guys, very special guest here, a man who I think this is his first time on the show, actually, when I think back to it. Pope, we've been friends for a long time, going way back to the early days of the Destiny community. So joining us here, guys, is from the Destiny Community Podcast, from DCP Live, General Pope Bear. Pope, what's up, dude?
Not much, man. I've just got finished with the Sea of Thieves Let's Play with my co-hosts, and we've been recording one of those a week and playing other games. So it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun checking out other games like Golf It, like these fun interactive games that aren't necessarily like a Destiny type heavy commitment games. You can just jump in and have fun. And I'd say Sea of Thieves is that kind of game. It's that jump in, very low entry and having fun. But that's really what I've been up to today. Had a blast.
Nice. Awesome. Well, Pope, like I said, man, we're glad to have you here. I want to, for people that, have been listening to Guardian Radio for a long time, or if you go way back to those early days of Guardian Radio, you may remember we used to host many, many podcasts here on the quote-unquote Guardian Radio Network. And one of those shows was an old podcast, Pope, that you were one of the co-hosts on, the Dads of Destiny podcast, which a lot of people may not be or may not know or may not remember, but we hosted it here on the website. But just to tell people a little bit about yourself, like what got you into just Destiny and Bungie in general, being a Bungie fan, like what brought you to Destiny back then, man? I don't know when the last time you've answered that question.
Well, no, so
that,
it's been a minute since I've thought about it, but I was actually talking about it on stream. I've been doing a Sunday stream just for shits and giggles lately, and me and like 4 other people, we hang out and talk. So it's been great. But let's see. I got really excited. I was really into Halo, and I switched out at Reach to Call of Duty. And when I heard Bungie was making Destiny, I got excited. I'm like, okay, I'm coming back. I'm back, baby. And so, but my life had changed. My circumstances had changed. I had become a father. I knew I was going to have limited time to play. And so I formed a group with a couple other guys. We formed the Dads of Destiny. And so it turns out that there was a lot of people who were also dads who
Yep.
were interested in playing Destiny and also wanting to group up. And so quickly, within before the game had even come out, we were 30,000 strong. I mean, it was crazy.
That, man. It was bananas.
And so, I don't know. We we realized that we had an instantaneous community, and that we needed to keep them connected, entertained. We had a great group of people. Deep Fried Dave, I don't know if you guys know him, but Deep Fried Dave was one of my first admins, along with a few other names that you probably remember, but I won't get into that. We created a phenomenal website and a system for placing all these guardians. Like literally you would fill out a form, right? And that form would then be translated. Like you would mark off all these different interests that you had. You know Guardian.io, the one that helps you. It was very similar than that to but for dads. And I apologize if you can hear my baby crying.
No, it's okay.
It's okay.
Can you really?
You're just proving you're a dad, Pope, right? I mean, right there's.
Yeah, I mean, this is the witching hour. She's going to bed,
No, it's
and
fine, man. Don't worry about
I
it.
really apologize. So anyway, we had thousands and thousands and thousands of dads signing up every day. And so we created this website where they would mark what days of the week, what region, where they're from. And I was at one point the clan leader of over 2,000 clans. Like we were forming them every day. I did DoD Alpha, Beta, Gamma, Delta, Epsilon, Zeta, Eta, Theta, Iota, Kappa, Lambda, Mu, Nu, Xi, and then we created thousands of them.
And Pope, I don't want to cut you off, but you know what's crazy to think about that? That was pre-release.
That's pre-release. That's what I'm telling you.
I mean, that's what some people that don't understand. Like those early days of the community. I mean, people were so rabid to just get their hands on this game, and so much content was already being created without a frigging game out there. Like, it's bananas to think that. I mean, you were leader of over 2,000 clans of a game that didn't even really exist yet.
And it was nuts. And the testament to the work that we put in as community leaders early on is that a lot of those clans are still alive, and a lot of them are still well. And anyway, I got into creating content for them. We created a podcast for keeping our clan members entertained or informed. And that's when the DoD podcast started. And you guys, we reached out to you as being the I don't know, the elder statesman of the.
I guess. Yeah. Yeah.
And it was great. We reached out to you to kind of mentorship, and you helped us out a lot. You helped us out.
It's crazy to think back, man. Just again, just those early days, and you look at where the community is now compared to where it was then, and just how much it's changed, but almost how much it hasn't. Like you said, those clans are still alive. I mean, you're still podcasting, you're still out there. I mean, to see the success you guys have had with DCP, man, has just been incredible. Even back to Planet Destiny and all that, man. It's awesome, man, to see just kind of where you guys have gone. And like I said, Pope, we're glad to have you here, man. For sure.
I appreciate that. I mean, it's been a long road to where I am now, and I'm not going to go through all that. But it's everybody's history, through every content creator's history in Destiny, and the way that this community has been formed is a testament to the camaraderie and everything that the game creates.
Yep.
And there's so many people that are linked together, and I mean, that's why we have such hard feelings right now of people frustrated with the game.
Yeah. Well, that was one of the
game.
The people that didn't leave the game so quietly? Those people?
No, I'm talking about I'm actually talking not content creators. I'm actually talking about the average person that played and had really close friends, and then they've seen their clan or group decimated by
we've got an email later that speaks exactly to that, exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. But
I mean, with the average person, we're no different. Content creators are no different. Mm-hmm. And I'm great friends with Lumi and Triple Rec and Anbu and Typhoon Trav and all those, Mr. Fruit and Rabby V and all those guys that that we became good friends with. They've all moved on to other games, and it's hard to take that in strides for some people. It's hard for that to settle in and go, okay, it's okay to do other things. And how do you maintain those friendships? And, it's not easy, right? How do you,
let me ask you this, because I've never gotten your opinion on this. So you're absolutely 100% right. We've always been advocates of play other games. We're huge advocates of play other games. We were critical of people that would say only Destiny this, that.
Dude, we did a Paragon podcast.
We did, which is totally
which is over
cool.
now, of course.
Yeah.
But it's the way that you move on. It's the way that you don't burn a bridge or say a certain thing or do a certain thing or make a big deal out of a certain way that you're going. Can't you just peacefully move on and then come back when it's back to being the way that you want it?
I think what you're dealing with, not on the content creator side, but on the average player side, you're dealing with emotions that are hard for, they're hard for people to express in a productive way. Like, they don't know why their friends, they don't know why they're upset. Their friends are leaving, and they look at Bungie as the cause of that, right? And it's hard to look past that and say, well, constructively, I think that you should improve this to make the game better, right? It's almost like I put criticisms in two columns. People that are trying to improve the game because they want to see the game better, and others that are just reacting to how emotionally they feel at the moment. So it's this visceral sense of like, hey, you guys fucked this game up, and I'm sorry. Do you guys cuss on this?
Yeah.
It's fine.
All right. So I won't say very often, but that's that emotional response, right? You Bungie, fuck this game up, and I need my pound of flesh, right? And that's that. But I think that there's still a huge part of this community that is trying to improve the game that they love, right?
Because we got some feedback not too long ago, and it was somebody, and it was the funniest email, and he was saying about the damage that was done to the average Destiny player by Bungie. And I'm like, what damage did they do to you? Like, honestly, did they do damage to you? Or were you just disappointed because it was something you expected and it was different? But you didn't have damage done to you.
Well, it's like so many people, their lives revolved around this game and this game only.
Right.
And it goes back to what you were saying before of being a proponent of playing other games. Like, I'm looking at my stack over here, Titanfall 2, The Division, Horizon Zero Dawn. I was playing and covering all those games while playing Destiny 1 and Destiny 2. Yeah. But I feel like if you throw all your eggs in one basket and only play one game, and then that sequel is not what you expected it to be,
right?
They're rightfully so very, very upset. But there's ways to go about, letting it out, or speaking your mind about how upset you are, and saying, listen, I like this. Let's propose some solutions, rather than just saying, like I deal with it in my comment section every day, being called a shill and this and that, and game's dead and this and that. But lately, since things have been getting better, I've seen a shift in the comments where it's people who they're having fun with the game, and the people who were salty and screaming at me, they've kind of moved on. You know what I mean? So, like, it's good. And go play Fortnite, go play other games that you really dig. That's cool. You know what I mean? And come back when you think things are better. Right?
Well, let's. We got lots to talk about, obviously, here, and how the game is getting better. But real quick, I want to ask Pope one more thing. And what is it, Pope? Because right now you seem like you've been playing the game still a lot. What is it about Destiny for you that makes you continue to play it? What is the fun that you find in it, in the day-to-day? Is it the Crucible? Is it just the world? What is it that keeps you playing? And outside of 1.1.4, like up until this point.
There's two reasons I still play the game, and they're two wildly different reasons. One, I feel almost like a moral obligation to play, experience the game, and have solid, critical, real feedback for Bungie. That's whatever. If they listen to me or not, I have no idea. I know they listen to us, but I'm just saying I want like legitimate, not pull it out of my ass, feedback. Right. So I want to play the game and I want to have strong feedback. So that's one reason why I play. The second reason why I play is because I'm having fun.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Easy answer.
I enjoy the game. I've always loved shooters. I really enjoy the way the game feels. I can zone out after a hard day at work, put on some music, and just run the strike playlist, or I can go meet up with some friends and do Crucible, or I can challenge myself for a raid. But a lot of it is just meeting people, hanging out, having a good time. And just straight up, I enjoy it. I don't really at this point in the game. I literally have everything. Mm-hmm. I mean, almost everything. I think there's still some ornaments that I don't have and whatnot. But for me, the motivation comes from, why did I play Call of Duty every night for hundreds of hours, or Halo for hundreds of hours?
I would say Halo, man. I mean, that's a perfect example. It was just,
you didn't have you didn't have you didn't need loot and all this stuff. And I know that's what this game is, but I've kind of reverted over to this other style of gameplay where I just see these as my options, and I play the game that I have in front of me.
Yeah,
I love it. It's I don't know. Maybe I mean, obviously the game can be improved, and I've sometimes I get frustrated and I go, that bugs me. But for 90% of the time, I go, I'm having fun.
Yep. Awesome, man. All right, guys. Well, let's start diving into some of this stuff, and we're not even going to do our little bumper here. Let's just roll into this because we have so much to talk about with this.
Yeah.
Where do you guys want to start? Because we put here in the rundown, we have all the patch notes and all that stuff, so we can kind of.
I didn't put them all in there.
I know you didn't. Thank
I put the stuff that's important, I think.
But I'm saying, do we want to dive through that, or do we want to just talk about kind of overall impressions first, and then kind of bring these things up as we're going in?
Yeah, I think go impressions, and then
I think the first thing we got to jump into is definitely just kind of how the Crucible feels now, because it seems like that was a lot of these changes, even though the changes to weapons say PvE, people were really hoping that it was going to be in the Crucible where these changes were going to kind of take effect. And I think especially some of the class changes definitely make the Crucible feel much different. I mean, I've been a proponent of Titans ever since I've been playing, Destiny, ever since we've been podcasting, everything Titans. Every other class sucks. And you guys know I've been talking about it here and there. I've recently finally leveled up my Warlock. And oh my God, I don't think I will play anything other than a Warlock in PvP until there are some changes coming.
So
because
much fun, man.
The Dawnblade is ridiculous.
You're about to lose your Titan Man card,
dude. I'm sorry. I apologize. It is. Oh my God, it is incredible. It is so much fun. I mean, we saw that teaser last week where you see him jumping around and so fast. That burst is. I mean, it's money, man.
It's. Can I chime in on the impressions first? With the whole speed thing, if you watched Fallout Place, he proved that if you just, I think a lot of us went into it thinking they were just going to make us move faster with walking, right?
I did, Sean. That's what I thought, yeah.
I thought that too. It's not. It's all in the jumping. If you look at the patch notes, the glides for the Warlock, the strafing, catapult, all that stuff for the Titan, that's where your speed is. So, if you notice lately in all my PvP clips, and I had some really good plays that I put up this morning as a beginning part of my video where I'm sort of Warlock skating, you know what I mean? Where I'm constantly doing these little mini jumps. And when you put on the sword, because I've been annoying sword guy now lately, when you put on the sword and you're in third person, even on console, you really feel that speed boost and stuff, I think a big thing too is I'm getting killed by different things, and that's refreshing. Yes. I'm getting sniped. I'm getting killed by fusion rifles. It's not always rockets all the time. I feel like the speed, and they made the right decision. Like Josh Hamrick said, in the D1 days, if something became a problem, they got a nerf. Well, they said this time, rather than nerfing what's popular, like Uriel's Gift, those 450 rounds per minute auto rifles, let's bring everything up or bring things up. So, I'm sure we'll get to Vigilance Wing in a little bit here, but, pulse rifles are viable. A lot of the hand cannons are viable. Sidearms are still really good. Now that there's a more abundance of power ammo, and it's not overdone, I feel like. I'm getting sniped. I sometimes use a shotgun. I like to run around with a sword all the time. And it feels like it's more action-packed, actually. You know what I mean? We'll talk about Rumble in a bit. I'm just talking about quick play. I really haven't touched competitive. Rumble, obviously, I personally think it needs to go to 6 just because the spawns are a little like kind of wonky. There's a lot of people on the map. You're getting spawn killed. But quick play, I could say right now in both the Osiris playlist and the quick playlist is absolutely, for me, as an average PvP or 1.1 kill death ratio, and that's not KAD. That's my Destiny 1 KD was 1.24. I finally got it up to 1.21. I'm really enjoying it. And PvE at the same time because all those buffs to PvE things, like I'm using all these weapons I never used that were sitting in my vault forever, like pulse rifles.
Pulse rifles, Sean. That's all I've been using, man.
Inaugural Address, Legal Action 2, Scout Rifles got.
Well, let me stop you right there, Mesa. I think that what hit me hardest, general speaking, like overall experience of this sandbox, is that I believe that a lot more weapons are viable and a lot more classes are viable. And if I was to say anything moving forward, that's what hit me the most, is that I'm having fun. Anytime there's a sandbox gym in a game like this, it's fun to explore and find out what the new meta is, right? I'm lamenting the fact that this should have been done a month into the game, right?
Yeah.
And then we should be getting this every couple months. We should be getting a sandbox change like this. It seemed like this took a mountain to move it, right?
Yep. Yeah.
And we're here, and it's great. And I just want to see this kind of sandbox update sort of regularly, right?
How often do we get them in D1, Pope? I'm trying to think back. Like it almost seemed, was it every 2 or 3 months?
It was pretty far too.
Yeah, but it didn't
longer
seem
than
that way though, Sean. I don't know.
I think it seems like their production time schedule for testing and implementation of things is a very conservative timetable. They like to check everything out. And it's just interesting to see that how much fun people are having experimenting with guns. And just, that's my overall impression, is that I'm enjoying the game exploring again.
Well, Pup, it's something that we talked about probably 3 weeks ago. And when as we were getting the tease of 1.1.4 and all these other things, I said, when was the last time we had a meta discussion? It was forever ago that we had a meta discussion.
Because there was no reason to have a meta discussion.
There was no reason to have it.
Yeah.
But I want to back up just a little bit, and I want to say that all of these things, as far as warlocks being really powerful now, is all Deege's fault. So everybody at Deege, right?
Blame Deege. Yeah.
So the warlocks have the midair dodge, like the Titan used to have with your little chest piece we had. They can basically go faster than a Titan now with that little burst that they have.
Well, on
instead of
there's a PC glitch that the Titans can move faster.
I know. But instead of all the floaty warlock stuff, which is the reason that we hated warlocks, because of the floaty jump, and it took so long and slow.
Yeah.
It wasn't because we hated warlocks. It was just because the jump was so awful. They've made them into Titans, and it's pissing me off. No, but it's brilliant. I really like the changes that they've made. It's a really huge step forward. We're having meta discussions again. You have different options as far as guns. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. Sean did a bunch of really cool videos on top 5s and stuff like that. And let's talk about the stuff. It's going to be great. But it's really good getting back into, hey, we're having a discussion about what gun is best in what situation. And we haven't had that discussion in a long time, and it's great.
That feels good.
Before we talk weapons real quick, can we just talk about, I think, Sean, you mentioned Rumble, but somebody in the chat mentioned heavy being an issue. How do you feel now the way heavy is? Personally, I like it when the Crucible's chaotic. For me, I like feeling overpowered. I don't get frustrated at getting killed. I'm not somebody who cares about my KD so much. I know if somebody's looking to play competitive and that's kind of on their mind, then they may not like the randomness that heavy kind of brings to it. But for me, I think it's pretty cool. I mean, I think the fact that they make it where you still have to hold down the button to pick it up, when someone drops it.
Yeah.
And it's forcing people around the map, because if you see someone get killed with it, it pops up and everybody's kind of facing that direction and everybody's kind of pooling that way. It just seems like the matches just flow much quicker, kind of the way that it's set up now. I even like how Control now, because was it with this update where Control made it where multiple people on the control point made it go quicker?
Yeah, now
this
right?
one. I love that. I mean, that was one thing that I kind of missed when Destiny 2 first came out, but now you can have multiple people on a control point and capture it much faster.
Right.
I don't know. It just
that was definitely a bad change, because even with that change, which it wasn't a bad idea, But the problem is people didn't change to it, and you would still have multiple
They'd
people
still be
sitting on a
standing
thing,
there,
and it didn't help. And then now it really needed to be that way. So because people don't play the objective as it is.
Sure.
Yeah.
Nobody's POTFing, man.
PTFO,
Nope.
man. Yeah, PTFO.
I don't really find it's too much spammy with all the power ammo. I'm finding it's made it more action packed. It's made me pay more attention to the bottom left hand of the screen when I see them pick up heavy. It says, all right, we got an annoying sword dude is coming from the other side. Or the fact that we don't see the supers up now. Before I pop my Dawn Blade, I pull my Ghost out to see, do they have a tether? You know what I mean? Because I know they're going to tether me as soon as I pop that Dawn Blade. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But it feels more action packed, and I'm just having a lot of fun experimenting. I will say, still the most, and I'm going to get a lot of help for this one, but I'm just going to say it. To me, the most annoying thing for my friends and I in the Crucible are invis hunters bunny hopping around with their anti-opes and their submachine guns. Oh my God. They are so annoying.
I don't have the problem with the anti-ope, but the invis.
God.
Well, it's different now, Sean. It's different. The hunters can get knocked out of their invis, right. So that was a sandbox change that was needed, and I think great. I mean, there's some quality of life changes that have made hunters should always be sneaky and an ability to get around, and they should always be a pain in the ass that way. Right. And I love that they have a little bit more character, but the adjustment of that sandbox to that invis being dragging away your aim assist. Right.
Yeah.
There is a sense of it dragging away, but then you can get it back when they're invisible. And that's a huge change. But your initial question, Mark, your initial question was about Rumble. Right.
Yeah.
And whether or not heavy ammo has a impact in it. And I played a good deal of Rumble, and I think that the problem that I have with Rumble isn't heavy ammo. I like that there is more pockets of excitement with the heavy ammo dropping and anybody being able to pick it up, and all of a sudden there's this new focus of interest over here rather than this choke point over here. Somebody dies out in the open, and all of a sudden it becomes an area for either you to camp and pick off people trying to get it, or it changes the dynamic, and it's very interesting. The problem I have with Rumble is that the spawns are horrific. There's too many. There's too many people. Right? Oh yeah. They
know it's an issue. Yeah,
for sure. But I think that the change that they're probably going to come up with, because I don't imagine that they're going to adjust all the spawn locations and things like that.
Nope.
They need to do two things, in my opinion. One, change the respawn timer. And then second, drop it down to 6 people instead of 8.
It's got to go to 6. Yeah. 8 is fun and chaotic, but it's too much, I think.
I got a question. What about this? What about, you don't need to change the respawn timer, but what if there were small pockets of safe locations that you could spawn into?
But where would they be? I played Burnout.
Whatever it may be. Maybe it's a circle that you can't get shot in. Maybe it's something that's hidden or something.
Well, then you spawn in with that shield, man. But it's still.
Hang on, I know, but just saying. Let's say that you spawn into a safe room that you can't get shot in, and you have 2 exits, and you can go out either way.
Yeah, then people are just camping the doors.
Maybe, but if you have multiple exits to get out of them, top, left, right. I'm just trying to think of something.
You know what I mean? And
other than making the map bigger, which is not going to.
Here's the thing, man. It's not like they're going to take the time to build new architecture to make a room like that. Or the idea that I even had was, and it's funny, I'm going to bring this game up, but Splatoon, the shooter on the Switch, has the ability every time you die, you can see the overhead map and you pick your spawn point, or you can spawn on your teammates. So at that point, you can kind of see the map. You spawn on your teammates, you're safe. But of course, in Rumble, you don't have teammates, and they don't want you to know necessarily where everybody is, and then for them to build a system like that right now, it's probably not worth it, man. So I think what Pope said, they got to bring it down to 6. That, I think, if anything, would alleviate it a little bit, and definitely the spawn timer. I mean, the way it is now in quick play is the same way.
You walk 3 feet up, and somebody spawns right behind you.
Pope, you get killed, and I reach to take a drink of my coffee, and I'm back in the game, and I'm like, oh, and then boom, there's somebody in my face, and I'm dead, and I'm like, hey,
well,
I just want to take a sip of coffee. I didn't even get a chance to
what I don't like is that there's 3 tiers coming. So there's all these areas of a map that aren't being utilized because people are just stuck on the ridges of them where the spawn points are. You walk few feet out of your spawn and you engage somebody, right, on the radar. You get into a gunfight with them, and immediately somebody is spawning in behind you as you're in that gunfight, and they walk up and clean up that kill and then move forward, and then somebody spawns behind them, and it's just this cycle of just it. Nobody ever moves into the interior. It's not entertaining. There's no dynamic gameplay. It's just stuck in the spawns. And I other than that, I think Rumble has a lot of potential. I really think that it should be a permanent playlist and not something that rotates.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Rumble right now almost feels like mini mayhem to me. It's almost as if it's mayhem, but it's not intentionally trying to be that, but it's just because of the way everything's built right now that it kind of is. But I agree with you, Pope. I hope they keep it. I'm interested to see how mayhem feels this week, because mayhem's always just fun. And is that going to 6 players?
It's gonna rotate.
No, but what's mayhem? Is it 6 or
no 4v4?
4v4, right? Is how they're doing
4v4.
it.
Yeah.
Something happen until later.
Iron Banner's gonna be 6v6.
The first one.
All right, what else here? So we can talk about some of the weapons, and let's dive in here. Sean, you mentioned the pulse rifles. Obviously, I think that's what I jumped into right away. I was trying pretty much every pulse rifle I had in my vault. What is it? The one I think I sent you guys that first day. Was it the Darkest Before? Was the first one I kind of fell in love with because it's automatic. You know, the trials.
Full auto trial energy one is really, really good.
It was great, man. I was using that. Even the
You
Relentless.
guys remember 2 weeks ago,
great.
I went nuts and I said, the wing.
The Vigilance
wing's
Wing is the one, man.
Right?
That I see a lot of people. I mean, you can pretty much, 3-tap that? Almost even.
You can 3-burst them, but the thing with that thing is that it's got 5 rounds in a burst, right? So you don't need to have good aim, which I don't. You know what I mean? So as long as you're landing body shots, and that thing, as my friend C. Minnow says, who I play PvP with, he goes, the Vigilance Wing will find you. Because when you start firing it, you feel the aim assist is ridiculous. It just sticks on that person, and you hose them down, you know?
Well, not to mention the pulse buff helps body shots, which we'll talk about here in a minute.
Well, I mean, I think that's what's making it work, man, is that they didn't necessarily, what says that, you know, it keeps the precision damage close to where it is now, but when you factor in those extra bullets, and most of those going into the body shots, that's where the buff is. So
I think it's really powerful, but I know to pick my engagements because my favorite weapon is the Manananan. I know I say that weirdly, but Manananan. But if someone's coming at me at a Vigilance Wing and they're at distance, I'll back off and use the Manananan, not the Vigilance Wing, and I'll usually be able to take them down. But then there's instances. I had a clip that I put up this morning where a guy, a hunter, of course, Invis, was rushing me with a submachine gun, and his aim just wasn't on, and the Vigilance Wing just hosed him down at like really close range. I hope, and I want to ask you guys, do you think they're going to nerf it in the next exotic pass?
The Vigilance Wing? Hell no.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I'm gonna tell you why it would be a mistake if they did.
They don't.
That is what an exotic should be.
Supposed to be, right.
All right. Yeah. So what they should be doing is not nailing that nail down to the board like they said with the patch.
Yeah.
They should be lifting up all the other exotics to meet it.
Pope. Yep.
And so I want to see Vigilance Wing, be powerful. I want to see the Sunshot be powerful. I want you to make a choice. Are you going to play the medium distance, powerful pulse, fire suppression weapon?
Right. Pick your playstyle.
Or are you going to be the up close personal hand cannon person?
Right.
Or are you going to do something sniping? Like the weapon should be powerful and should almost dictate your playstyle.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I think even Josh Hamrick said that in the little trailer they put out beforehand. He's like, in the past, we would always nerf things, where this time we're doing the opposite. We're bringing everything up. So it's like, that's exact. Sean, I mean, it would shock me if they did that. I think they realize.
Okay, no, I'm just.
That's the devil's advocate sort of.
Comment section everyone was complaining about it and stuff like that. I'm like, guys, I love it. It's fun. It's like any gun for me. And I always say this when I go into PvP. There's some nights where I'm really good with a weapon, and then the next night I'm terrible with it. So some nights I'm amazing with Vigilance Wing. Some nights I'm terrible with it.
Right. Some
nights I'm amazing with the Banana Nan. Some nights I'm not. So I hope it stays where it is. Has anyone tried Midas since the update?
I haven't.
Midas almost irrelevant now.
Wow. Okay.
It literally is. Like when you there is a few distances where that scout is effective in PvP.
It's like 3/4 to full range. It's like
just
inside
of the Vigilance Wing. It's just when the Vigilance Wing has a little too much kick that you can't. Because what I've noticed about the Vigilance Wing, and I'll get to the Mida in a second, is that you aim right about the crotch, and the fifth bullet
the recoil will take it up. Right, correct. Yep.
And then there's distance that fifth shot, or no matter, even if you aim at their toes, it won't hit them.
Right.
So that's where that Mida lives. But then when you're looking at that distance, it's a very small margin of maps that have a lane that is effective. So you're not really going to be utilizing it very often. And there's so many other scouts that can also do that, like Tone Patrol and there's what is that? What's that other one?
The metronome, the full auto.
So many scouts that aren't exotics that can live at that range. So I don't see very many Midas running around. I don't know about you guys.
No.
Has anybody used any of the Osiris weapons?
Just
to see
the
now,
scout
kind
rifle.
of where are they now?
Some of the forged weapons are good, man. Yeah.
The hand cannon that you forge west of Sunfall, and the scout rifle. I forgot the name. It's got outlaw and it's high impact because
I'm gonna bring.
They buffed them all for PVE purposes. Because scout rifles right now in PVE. I love Nameless Midnight still, but it's in the vault right now for a little bit because I'm having fun with a lot of other scout rifles. But
the Jack Queen King is probably one of my favorite.
Deleted that thing too, man.
One of my favorite guns from the Forge, and it's a good hand cannon. It feels good. There's the Null Calamity. That auto rifle is it's good. There is Traveler's Judgment, which is a sidearm. It's a 3-burst. That thing is beautiful.
Yeah, that thing destroys.
There's a couple guns from that Forge that just dominate. And
Prosecutor still does good, by the way. I want to say I thought it would die down. Prosecutor still melts pretty well. But
I still get killed by Uriels all the time too. For me, the most annoying thing, and like you guys chime in, I can't stand the SMG users, and I say that because I'm terrible with them. Whenever I try to use them, but I know that I play with the scout rifle type of mindset where I'm keeping you at range and I'm trying to pick you off. I'm not used to when I watch True Vanguard, he's got it down to a science, man. He will rush you. He'll start hosing you down. If he misses or doesn't waste you with the submachine gun, he'll melee you, or he'll do the other thing. He'll melee you, then finish you off. But it's that really aggressive, like Titan skating, jumping all around. I'm not good with that. If I want to use SMGs, I need to start doing that.
Yep.
Well, I'm finding that this is conversation we're having right now. How many guns have we listed?
Exactly. Compared, we haven't talked about in months.
Right.
Yeah.
Think about
ever, man.
How long ago did we first load up Destiny and found out that, or Destiny 2, and go, man, this Lincoln Green, because one of the first pulse rifles you get is Lincoln Green, and you're like, man, this thing's really good. And then quickly you discover that it isn't. And then now it's back again, because I don't know if you guys have used it, but in PvP,
I have it though. No,
it wrecks. It wrecks.
No doubt.
So.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome, man. Just seeing, all these guns now come back, and it's, this is what was great about Destiny 1, right? This is what the conversations.
The reason that we had vault space problems in Destiny 1 is because the meta changed.
Right.
And we had to store everything. So because the meta would change, well, that hand cannon that's a piece of shite right now, I'm going to put it in my vault because later on, if they buff the hand cannons, that thing might be amazing, and it was. And that's the reason that I stored everything. And up until even a month ago, my Postmaster was full because I was using it as my secondary vault because I knew this was coming. I knew they were going to change this and the meta was going to change and it was coming. But I finally, in order to do things, I was like, I just got to delete stuff, and I did, and I purged, and now I don't have things that I wish I had. Well, I don't have a Manan.
K-Dub, I think the problem also in D1 is that we had about a quarter of the vault space that we have now. Plus, we had random rolls, which most people didn't know if they had that insecurity of should I delete it or not. I don't know yet, right? So you held on to it just in case.
Right.
And then also, I think that you find that when you have that shifting meta and people know that something's coming up, they want to hold on to it. Right, so you become this hoarder, right?
Right.
But I like that we're talking about all these different guns. I like that I was a big Uriel's Gift, as probably 90% of people, but I really love that gun. Yeah. It's still relevant.
It is.
They managed to bring up all these other guns.
If you're at the right range, it still wrecks face. The same thing as the Prosecutor. Absolutely. Like I cleaned 5 people off of of a B point the other day when Mark and I was playing with Prosecutor. And it's because I was at the right range. If you're at the right range with a gun, it will still be effective.
Yeah, same thing with Origin Story.
I would say Origin Story, even the positive outlook, Sean. Like they still
positive outlook.
Because what do they do? They brought everything else up to them.
Yeah,
so
to be in line with them.
Have these other options now. Other things are viable. I mean, let's talk real quick about the power weapons, because here we are. We're talking about kinetic and energy, and what was pretty much everybody's go-to for power was a rocket, right? You just use a rocket because it's an easy kill. But now with this patch, they were hoping to broaden out kind of what people were using. Fusions, I'm seeing a lot. I'm starting to see shotguns again. What's the one? The Legend of Acreus? Is that the
Acreus is so annoying, but
it's everywhere, man.
A lot of Legend. Dado loves the Legend of Acreus. Just ask him. I was listening to DCP. That's all he kept talking about.
What about snipers though? Are you seeing like I purposely equipped one and actually had like I had like 3 or 4, which for me like never happens. But that it only happened once. Other than that, it's like the maps for me just don't fit.
The Nightfall sniper is everywhere,
awesome.
Dude. It's
so
everywhere.
Awesome, yeah.
I got domed 3 times in one game with that thing.
Did you really?
Absolutely. Yep.
It's a nice weapon. I think snipers are back. Not as they still need a little bit of a touch, and we know that they're going to try to root out that bug that they still have in there with the flinch. They were able to reduce some of it, but they're trying to bring it fully back. But when they do, man, snipers are there. You have options.
Yeah, right.
You have options.
Well, the funny thing is now that they've changed how much ammo you can hold when you get power ammo, and the how quickly it comes back in PvP, it's viable again. It's like it's kind of like almost D1-ish, where everybody's just running around with secondary and power ammo, right? We call it heavy. But it's huge. It's a big deal now. It really is. I mean, you get, depending on the game mode, because it changes based on game mode, you get 5 or 6 sniper shots. That's a big deal.
The big changes to power in PvE has completely changed and made PvE more fun for me, because every time I did strikes, every time I did patrols, it was the same thing. Nameless Midnight, Uriel's a positive outlook, and Sins of the Past are curtain call.
That's right.
Now I'm using Borealis. I'm using the Nightfall sniper. I'm using Man-O-War linear fusion rifles, because they do so much more damage now, especially linear fusion rifles. I mean,
yes, man.
I haven't rated
How much fun
since
is Telesto right now?
Oh, Telesto's awesome. Merciless is decent, but I'm liking sniping because it was the first, because I was in the which is the is it Tree of Probabilities or Garden World? I forgot. The one with the big Cabal dude at the end. But I was using a Nightfall sniper in them, where normally I'm just using rockets, and it was so weird to see a boss flinch for the first time.
Right.
I'd never sniped before. And they flinch just like they did in Destiny 1.
Yeah.
Well, let me read this real quick, Shawnee. So from the patch notes in the sniper rifle category, PvE damage that was the PvE damage for sniper rifles was increased by 20% for yellow bars and 40% for red bars. That's a big freaking deal. You know, you want to talk about staggering people. I mean, how many times that we were going through the raid and we were staggering bosses and everybody's using snipers, right? It was a big deal.
A key thing is to stagger, especially yellow bars too. When they start adding heroic modifiers to the they start adding modifiers to the heroic strike playlist. That's where snipers, I think, are really going to come in handy, because you don't want to stay back, pick off those yellow bars if it's arc burn or if it's small arms, or what was it when your heavy was? I know it was specialist, small arms. Was there one that made your power or your heavy buffed in D1? I don't think there was. Just it was specialist and small arms. Whatever. Think of it. I think snipers will come in very handy for that. Not just using rockets over and over and over.
Right.
Yep.
The linear fusion buff is ridiculous, by the way. I mean, 50%. 50%.
It's a big buff, man.
That's ridiculous.
That's a big buff.
It is.
When they affect the flinch, that's when you're going to see those linear fusion. Right now, it's still tough to hit your shot in PvP because, it takes that load up for a second. It takes you need to. Zzz.
Yeah.
Once they figure out how to grab that bug and nail it down, they operate under the same thing as snipers, and you're able to get that shot off. You're going to see them make a return.
Right. I agree.
Let's see. I'm kind of looking through some of these other things. They did change
perks.
The what?
The perks.
Perks. They're about perks.
Yeah, let's talk about
perks.
Some
Perks are a big deal. Yeah, there's some big perks.
is similar to Firefly, but I told folks, if you want to feel like it was when you had Firefly, make it solar, because when you put on solar, you really see the explosion.
I saw that in your video you did, Sean.
Yeah,
that was cool. Yeah, you can see
they did buff it by 30% to commands, but if you use it on Arc or Void, you do see an explosion, and ads next to it will take some damage. But if you really want to see it and feel like it's Firefly, put on a solar mod for it.
Well, it says too, they updated the effects of it, Sean, too. So that's when we'll see it, man. Definitely.
Well, the effects are beautiful. I mean, like the sparkle of it, but it still doesn't have that pop that
Firefly did. Yeah, it's getting there.
Right. It's getting close. I mean, 30% improvement is pretty damn good.
Yeah.
But I think it's funny. Like Dragonfly, I don't know which is better now. Is Dragonfly or Time Payload better?
Oh, Time Payload is they need to do something with that. I almost feel like that's kind of garbage.
In this morning's review of my top 5 kinetic weapons since the update, I was comparing because only one weapon has it, the Future War called hand cannon. I was comparing it to the Iron Banner hand cannon because they're similar archetypes. But the time payload thing, they changed it in 1.1.4 where they split the damage 55-45. So I don't know. They need to do something. Like they need to make the explosion like give it some meaning to it right now. Because right now it's just you're splitting damage. I'd rather just use the Iron Banner or hand cannon, get a critical, and get Outlaw to proc. You know.
Yeah.
The only way that I saw that being valuable is in an energy weapon, a high impact energy weapon like a pistol, where you would get the initial power of it would be in taking off the shield with the explosion taking off health.
Oh yeah.
Right. So it's not being applied to the right. I don't feel like it's being applied to the right guns to make it just a viable option.
Yeah.
The ability stuff is amazing, though. I mean, that's where really the changes with this
having
update.
2 supers in a match.
Yeah.
Who would have thought? Like, man, it's the best.
Yay, we all get more super energy. Like, the reason that we loved Mayhem is because you're a freaking OP ridiculous person running around with supers all the time, right? So, but the reality of it is, like, if you are the I'm going to say average, right? Average Destiny player, you would at most, and usually at the end of the match, get a super. Yeah. And you're like, great, if the game's already done, but I'll go throw my Nova Bomb or do whatever I'm going to do, and it doesn't matter. Whereas now, they had to cut that down and give more energy to people. And that's one of the biggest advantages, I think, to this update, is that they shortened super regen times. They give you more super
plus assists and assists. Give you energy. Yep.
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely,
they do, Sean.
man.
Yeah, that was awesome.
People want to be Superman. It's like that's.
Well, I feel like I feel like it's greatly improved, and it's not over the top.
Right.
I really feel like it's important. There's a lot more things in PvE that give you that super energy, and you're getting them more often. So the space magic, I feel, is come back in both PvP and PvE.
Yep. Yes. Hope you know that I think using that word space magic kind of like exemplifies some of this patch because it seems like Destiny 2 now feels like it, but now it's starting to feel like it should.
Right.
It's kind of showing why it's different than other shooters out there. You know, how the movement is better, it's faster, you have more abilities, you feel like you have space magic in these matches. And I think to many prior to this patch, you just didn't always feel that. And like that's what people were coming to Destiny for.
For the first time ever playing PvP this week, I was like, wait, I'm supered and I'm not popping it instantly. You know, like, because before, as soon as you got supered, you had to pop that shit right now.
Yeah. Well, there's
you know.
Yeah, K-Dub, there's some serious armor pieces that give you good perks,
right?
For holding your super while you have your super active, and so there's a whole genre of playstyles that you could not utilize because you weren't getting your super until the very end. Yep. And then in the PvE circumstance, it happened so frequently that infrequently that you wouldn't choose that playstyle or that thing to do it.
Correct. Yep, absolutely.
But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I think that one of the things that I feel like is so refreshing to me is that I can literally sit down, and I know we're going to go over the playlist and things like that, but the Nightfalls, for example, are fun as hell.
Hell yeah.
And you know, the prestige Nightfall, to get that you know, score amount that you need, the 60,000, you have to sit in the lobby for a minute and talk and go,
Yeah.
Yep.
all right,
What's our plan of attack?
What burner are you putting on? Let's get our armor to the right levels. Let's put our classes to be the right pairing. You know, we need one this, one this, one this.
You have to consider your loadout. You have to
and it's been a while, honestly, it's been a while since I've had to do that. And that was really cool.
Yep.
And you're not always successful too. You're not. I mean, you all die and you get taken to orbit.
Yep.
Look, the reason
the good old days, man. Yes.
One of the biggest things that Bungie ever did, and they're a clan centric company.
Yeah.
And so the reason that they do that is because you want to make teamwork, because teamwork and playing with your friends and creating this plan of attack to make it's just like a raid. It's why the raids are the best. Is because you go with a plan of attack with a group of friends in your comms, and you have this whole group that goes and has a common goal that you go attack something, and when you accomplish it, there's nothing better as far as video gaming goes. It's just amazing. And to have to plan for even a 3-person activity, planning for it and going and accomplishing that activity is so rewarding and so fulfilling. That's what we want to. That's why you play these games. It's not just to go shoot villains and bad guys in the face. It's to go play with your friends and plan and have an attack and accomplish something that's really cool. Because it's hard to do, man. It's not easy, you know, and it's really, really cool. Or really, really cool. Yeah.
But the fact that you have to kill everything and not run past everything is a big fun factor for us. I mean, I can't wait for the Arms Day. Arms Day. Sorry.
Too many Arms Day videos, Sean.
Right.
Arms dealer strike to show up, because we normally blow past the whole middle section right there. You know?
Yeah, we do too.
So, you know, there's still parts of strikes where you have some dialogue from your ghost, or you have some whatever going on. So you have to make up for that time. You know what I mean? So that's why you got to really plan, like, okay, guys, we're a little slow on time. You know, like we were doing a Pyramidenian. If we took a little bit too long at the beginning part, we're like, all right, guys, we got to make up time. So the next stage, which waste everything. And, you know, because we were doing things where we were trying to, like, save our supers for a certain part. As soon as you get your super, use it. Make orbs, use your Masterworks. When Masterworks Exotics hits, that's going to be another huge thing, because supers, orbs count. Helps a lot out, you know, for you to get as many points as possible. But, you know, like Pope said, the fun, for me, Nightfalls are fun again. I think Enkuch tweeted out that it took him 16 Nightfall strikes before he got the sniper. I saw that, to get the
sniper, yeah.
That's a grind. That's a step in the right direction of bringing back a grind. I got lucky on the third attempt, but I like that type of grind. If they start adding more of those, you know, like really unique strike themed, or could be even Crucible themed type things, you know what I mean, that require you to log in. You know, like Christopher Barrett said, they want to make it your hobby again. You know, they want to give you a reason to log in every day. So I love it so far.
Yep. And go ahead.
Or no, go ahead, Pope, because I was going to move on. But go ahead.
No, I was just going to say the Nightfall for me, and some of the small little things that make people who grind it and become masters of it stand out is cool. The aura, cool. The player cards that are unique and drop with higher scores that are above the aura limit, you know, at 60,000, 75,000, you know, 100,000. And you see somebody with that player card, you know that they took it for real. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, they focused to get that score, and it's a kudos to them, man. And you want to, like, reach out to them and go, dude, what were your loadouts? Yeah. And how long has it been since you've seen somebody in the tower and gone up to them and gone, whoa, okay, hold on. How did you do it? Like, because I want to know, what was your loadout? Yep. And I think that's a really strong step in the right direction. I'd love to see it. What they're doing for Nightfalls, I'd love to see in raids.
Yep. I'd even like to just see just the strike specific loot. I know that, you know, it was kind of teased a little bit on Twitter and that hopefully we'll start seeing that. Because like you said, Pope, going up to someone and seeing them, you know what they went through, and then for you to find out how they did it. I mean, that was one of the things.
Dude, we want to wear Oryx's hat as ass as a hat, right?
That's right. I mean, that was one of the original things that they used to talk about back in the day, was you would go to the tower, see someone, and be like, where did you get that? How did you get that? So that you would want to go out and get it too. And D2, it just seemed like, you know, kind of where it's been to this point. It's just been just play the game and you'll get it at some point. Like that's kind of where, sure, of course we have our raid gear and you got trials gear and that, but join a clan and you'll just get it because it'll drop and you're,
Well, the Nightfall rewards are not unique though, and that's the problem.
Right.
Mark.
Yep.
And I like literally it doesn't matter. It really you could have placed that reward, that sniper could have been for some other DLC or some other, they just pulled it, some asset. It could have been anything that they had already made and just plugged in there for a reward. I would love to have seen boss themed pieces of armor.
Yes,
right?
Yeah,
agreed.
And with perks that are useful for that boss's enemies.
Well, that's one of those things like that. Like you said, the ass wear his ass as a hat. Like that's when if you kill him, you want something from him that you put on, right?
Yeah.
Like absolutely, 1,000,000%.
I gotta admit, I was kind of bummed when I saw the strike specific loot from the Destiny tracker website because
sure.
Like, do you guys remember when Rise of Iron hit? All the Iron Banner weapons looked completely different and sounded completely different.
Yeah. Yep.
That's what I was expecting.
On them.
That's what I was expecting. I mean, the sniper sounds different, and it looks pretty cool, and I love it. But I feel like I wanted something to look totally like. I was expecting so that was for the Pyramidion strike. I wanted a gun like the Pyramidion boss had or something, or a helmet that looked like his head. Remember? Alakul, or whatever his name was.
Alakul.
Yes.
Yeah. You can get that Titan helmet that looked like a rhino, or you can get that fusion rifle that
the
had
Shield Brothers gave you the arms.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. There's so many things. Remember the Scion cloaks for the hunters?
I collected all three of those things. I love those.
I mean, the solar voice. I mean, that is what we're talking about.
The Imago loop. I must have gotten 300 Imago loops. Could never get the Fatebringer roll. But
dude,
then,
how many times did Luke Smith talk about the Imago loop?
Yeah,
that was his favorite weapon.
I love that gun. I got the Fatebringer roll literally on the first time I played it, and just sat there and basked in all of my hosts salty tears.
Check
for
it
so
out,
long.
right?
It was great. No, and some people never got it. And I play every week with my raid team, and there's one guy on our raid team that still to this day has not gotten the Fatebringer, and that's okay.
Oh man, is that Eric McGurk? Still,
Eric. Yeah.
Eric.
Real quick before we move on past the patch, what do you guys think of the changes to competitive with no radar? Have you guys dove in at all? I only played a handful of matches.
I haven't played it at all.
I played
stressed the whole time. But
oh my god,
go for it, man.
You want me to dip in?
Go for it, Pope. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah,
man.
go for it. What do you think, buddy?
Man.
It reminds me of why I fell in love with hardcore search and destroy in COD.
Yeah.
It is competitive. You've got to. Okay, so one of the biggest problems that people talked about is that you have the meta is one hand on the trigger and the other hand on your teammate's butt cheek, right? That's the problem with Destiny, right? Oh, yada, yada, yada. Well, the reason why that happens is because everybody knows when there's somebody trying to fake. Right. The radar is too something.
Yep.
So without the radar, all of a sudden now you have to have one person looking left and another person looking right, and you have to talk to each other, and you all can't be pointing down a lane. And then when somebody comes to flank, you all just turn. You don't know. You have to wait for call outs. You have to be there, right? Present in the moment. So fundamentally, I feel like the no radar has made competitive more competitive.
Yes.
And I'm enjoying it very much. And it's got me excited to practice with a team and learn. All of a sudden now I had to know the call outs because I'm dying and I'm going, what is this? And then,
yeah.
What are you talking about? Rugs? What is rugs?
Carpet.
Rugs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
I loved it.
Think about it. What right now?
I don't want to burn. We've got an email coming about this specific topic, and I don't want to burn it. But I do want to say this: it's brilliant having the no radar because it makes and with the time to kill in Destiny, you have a chance to escape when you get flanked.
Yeah.
So I'll leave it at that, and we'll talk about it when we get to this email later. But there's a really good email about the specific topic, and it's really, really good. and it's the reason that I think Pope is really digging competitive. Competitive has always been, even since the reveal in LA, competitive. Mark, you know, I love it. I loved the way that it goes. I love the way that it's like a one. We're 1-0, 1-1. You're keeping track of the score, and you have to. Now we have to defend. Now we have to be on offense, and the different dynamics of it are just brilliant, and I love it. I think it's my favorite game mode in Destiny 2. Absolutely.
Trials was also in the competitive zone, and it also had no radar. Yeah. I felt like I did 3 cards with on my 3 characters this week, and I felt like not only was Trials more, it was easier for me.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm not a great player, but I am a great communicator, and I'm a great teammate. So whereas I felt like with the radar, I felt like I was getting melted all the time. Now I have an opportunity to make plays, and I have an opportunity to do call outs for my teammates and be useful. Right.
Yep.
And so Trials for me is much more enjoyable.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I like that.
I saw some feedback. Yeah, from it seemed like the more hardcore Trials players almost seeing a little bit frustrated, because it seemed like that, they just got so used to reading the radars and working with their teams and now everything had completely changed. I mean, I'm sure in the coming weeks we're going to see that kind of start to shift back to where, if you're a good team, you're going to be great. But I think, like you said, Pope, I think having that radar not there, you are able to definitely be, I don't know, like me personally, I'm not a good Trials player at all, but like it gives me a little bit of an advantage because it puts them at a disadvantage. So for me, it takes the
team shotting. It takes the team shotting advantage out of the game.
Yeah. Somewhat.
Somewhat. To an extent. I mean, if you communicate it properly, like Pope was saying, you're covering your angles.
It nerfs it a little bit. It puts it in its place. It shouldn't be the only tool in your team's toolbox.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
If you're in the final moments of a capture point and you've got yourself lined up and you've got a point advantage and you've positioned yourself well and you're in you're watching 2 choke points, then that's what team shot's for.
Right.
It shouldn't be where your radar covers 3/4 of the map and you know where everybody's coming all the time.
Right.
Yeah. So
exactly. Yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, let's move on past the patch, guys.
Oh, one thing real quick.
Oh, go ahead.
Quitters. We got the quitters.
Oh yeah, the quitter penalty.
Right?
Quitter patch. So the little buff they put in the quitter patch, I'm going to call it. It says incomplete matches in competitive Crucible playlist will now result in a warning or temporary 30-minute suspension from competitive and Osiris competitive playlists. Do you guys think this is good enough, harsh enough, not good? Not what do you guys think about this? 'Cause I love it. I
don't play competitive, so I
think it could be even harsher, and not even on competitive. It could be even go to quick play, but what do you guys think?
I think it will be harsher, Caleb, if you do this multiple times. I mean, they've been using the ban hammer as it is already. So if you have this happen a few times to your account, I'm sure they'll just come in and just completely lock you out for a certain amount of time. And they're not going to tell people that, obviously, how many times that is or whatever.
Right.
But 30 minutes, man. I mean, hey, if you play MOBAs, I mean, you and I, we used to play crap ton of Paragon. I mean, that's what happens. You back out of a match, you just ruined the match for 4 other people on your team. Like that, you can't be like that. And and I think this really sets competitive. It helps set the tone for competitive. Now, I haven't noticed. Does it mention a warning at all about this, or no?
It doesn't.
Because that's one thing I think
they
should maybe do is put that when you go to click, right before you click launch, maybe when you hover over it, just have something saying, leaving an inactive match could potentially ban you for 30 minutes or something like that, just on the screen.
Well, there's also so there's a mention in your chat right now about they don't like it because of being DDoSed. Well, one of the things that they don't talk about in here is the system understands when someone has been knocked offline. Right. The only time that a negative thing is put against you is if you back out and you're back into orbit. So if if you get knocked offline, if you're going to quit, just unplug your Ethernet cable.
Right. That's what I was saying. Are we
I don't want to teach you guys how to quit.
Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, once you're pulling the cable, I mean, that's the only way that I guess you can avoid it. But I think that there's also something that I was a little disappointed with. I feel like there's a decision like this should be a stick and a carrot. And this is the stick of, banning people or timing them out or what, yada, yada, yada. But at the root of this, people are leaving because they don't want to play that game mode, right? There's a lot of different superfluous reasons, like, hey, my mom called me down to have dinner. My girlfriend came over. Oh, I forgot. I got it. I'm not talking about those. The majority of people, I think, when they run into Countdown or a map they don't like, they back out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So at the root of that is potentially the carrot, where the competitive playlist should be broken down by play modes, right? You should have Slayer and you should have OBJ game modes in 2 different playlists so that you can choose to go after Control and just play Control if that's what you want to play. That would be the carrot. Give people what they want and not force them into a playlist that puts them in game modes that they don't want.
Right.
Yeah.
So I wanted to see.
Should there also be maybe so all right, let's say that you're in quick play and it says, okay, you're going to X map, whatever it is, and you don't like that map, right? Mm-hmm. Is there a time that you think that they should be able to back out without a penalty and it just goes back into queue? Or is it just is there a sweet spot in there somewhere of you don't get penalized because of whatever the things that you were talking about, and also it's something that you've played this map 7 times in a row now, and I know that's not realistic, but I'm just using that as an instance of where are we that you can back out and not get penalized versus is it once you're in the game and you're getting your ass kicked and you back out that you get the penalty? You know what I mean? Like where is that? Right. Where is that sweet spot of you got penalized because you backed out because you're losing? That's what they're trying to stop. They're trying to stop people from them. You're losing and you back out and you bail and you had a full team of 6 and now you're 4 on 6 because 2 assholes left. Right? That's the thing that they're trying to stop. Not the I don't like this map, I'm out. Right?
Right.
How do you do that?
I mean, if you knew the answer to that, you would you'd be
I'd be in Seattle right now. Right?
Yeah,
that's right.
I mean, making games is hard.
It's hard, man.
I saw someone at GuardianCon once that said, "I hate this map." Yeah. You know what I mean? That's what we've always said all the time at Login. I hate this map. I love that T-shirt. I gotta get one of them. I hate this map.
I feel like there's a root to people's decision making, and when you go to honest people wanting to play the game, for me, being able to give more options to how I should play the game is better. Giving the player more options, right? And I think that the new ground that they need to work on is providing that in PvP. These rotating playlists that we're getting, they shouldn't be meat and potatoes playlists like Rumble and Mayhem. Those should be options for us. Yeah. What should be is VIP, Oddball, SWAT, King of the Hill, SWAT. Those should be rotating playlists that come in with with special events. Yeah. Imagine if we had 2v2v2 for the Valentine's Day playlist.
Would have been great.
Your lover against other lovers, to prove who's. Think of a 2v2v2 King of the Hill. To which couples are the best at fighting together.
Yeah.
Right. I just think that they should get more creative with that rotating playlist, and it should not be these meat and potato ones.
Yeah. Pope, do you think a lot of the reason why we have, or why it is the way that it is right now, is because initially with the reveal of D2, it really came across they wanted to make it a competitive, watchable game. and that maybe that's why we are kind of where we are and why they didn't get so creative. I mean, obviously that has completely failed and kind of thrown out the window. I mean, do you think that's maybe why that we got the playlist that we did, or no?
No. I honestly believe it's the opposite of that. I don't think that they were trying to make Destiny a competitive game at all. I think that they were making it a average player experience, and the average player would jump in and not have a choice, or not really have a, the hardcore player has a desire to play Control and then switch over to, Supremacy, or try their hand at, Countdown. Mm-hmm. That's the mindset of a hardcore player. The average player doesn't want a bunch of decisions. They just want to jump in and play.
You know what's
right. And so, I don't know.
No, keep going. I didn't want to.
No, go.
I was just say we actually got literal feedback from people at Bungie, and I'm not going to name names. That was exactly what you just said. That the hardcore player wasn't necessarily the number one concern that they had making this game. It wasn't.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think just kind of the way progression and everything in the game, it shows. I think for me, it was seeing the way they built, like the way the HUD almost looks, where you see the two teams, what class they're playing, when they're supered, you see all those levels. It was like they almost went out of their way to visually make it look like a competitive game, but in the gameplay itself, that's not what they mean.
Yeah, it's competitive light, right?
Yeah,
it is.
All right. Anything else on the patch? I think we need to keep rolling here.
We got to roll.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about this DLC announcement.
There really is.
Because this is, I think, Sean, you made a nice video on this. You were kind of one of the first people to point this out. It was explain kind of where this came from.
Okay, so a few weeks ago, it made it to Reddit, Twitter, all sorts of stuff, that GameStop and Amazon.com. So the next DLC is called The Fallen Warmind, and it's going to come out on May 8th, right? Late last night, like 3 in the morning, someone tweeted me, "Hey, Mesa, if you look at the French version of the This Week at Bungie, Cosmo sign-off says the next update will be May 8th. So then I said, could you send me that link in French? So he sent it to me. When I pulled it up on my desktop, it brought me right to the English site. But when I went to my phone and I opened it up, it went to the French site. So then I highlighted the final paragraph, put it into Google Translate, and it did say, like, we have much more to... Actually, hold on. I have it right on my desktop somewhere. Let me find it. He says, and here it is right here. Okay. He actually signs off with, and this is not on the English version either. It says right here, "We are far from having reached the final version. Many changes are planned for Destiny 2. This is just another step. The next is scheduled for May 8th. And then someone told me later on that got pulled today from the French website. So I don't know if that's a mistake someone made, but it was indeed last night on the French website where the sign-off had said May 8th. So
I'm wondering, makes sense, right? I mean, the way we've seen the roadmap, we've seen the rotation of we're trying to Crucible.
Speculate if DLC is going to hit. I think, because remember, House of Wolves came out in the middle of May 15th of May 19th, 2015. Yep. So what I think is going to happen is 1.2.0 might hit May 8th, which is a Tuesday, and then maybe the DLC. Because think about it, all the stuff we have right now are quality of life changes, making you feel more powerful about PvE and PvP. They're prepping us. They're prepping the game to be ready. Because then when you throw on new story, a new strikes, new PvP maps, maybe bring back a old favorite like Rift for the Crucible, or a new Crucible mode, a new raid lair, throw all those quality of life things on top of new content. I think it's going to be a home run. I don't think, because some people are like, we need a Taken King again. We need another TT King of Destiny 2. I don't think that's going to happen until the fall. And it looks like instead of slapping it all at one time, they're slowly rolling out all these changes that we all would like to see in the game, because time's not on their side. They can't, if they had held off on all these quality of life changes and slapped it on the next DLC,
that would have been disastrous.
But it would have been a disaster. And plus, it gives us a good month to fiddle around with everything.
True.
And give them feedback as to, hey, this works, this may not work so well, maybe change this a little bit, so then they can make some tweaks before 1.2.0 as well as DLC number 2.
The other thing that would maybe confirm that, May 8th?
May 8th
is a Tuesday. Which is when the reset comes, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Makes a lot of sense.
It's gotta be Tuesday.
It does, yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see if that happens. And I mean, heck, we're getting close to that. So, I mean, if anything, I would assume soon we're going to be hearing some sort of news coming out of Bungie as to when this is possibly going to be being deployed, and just a little bit more info than what's out there right now. The other thing, too, in the final piece here for news is that the Bungie bounty is returning, and this time, guys, it's finally hitting PC, which is pretty awesome. This is going to be running from April 4th. So as of recording this, it's the 2nd. So that will be Wednesday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Pacific time. PC. You're going to be doing Mayhem. You're going to have Cosmo, Dylan, Terrible, and Liquid all out there taking you on. So remember, if you've never played one of these Bungie bounties, you basically queue into the playlist. You watch them on Twitch as it's going.
And try to queue up.
Try and queue up. And while they're doing that, in between matches, it's going to be Deej and is it Hamrick that's going to be doing it with Deej?
That's correct.
Yeah, they're going to kind of be answering some questions from the stream and all that. I will say, if you are going to be there, be civil, because I see it becoming a mayhem, literally. But I'm sure they're still going to have it on sub-only chat, which I think is what they've been doing the last few times.
Yep.
But a pretty sweet emblem you're getting. I mean, they always had the specific emblems that you would get from the Bungie bounties, and
pretty cool.
This emblem's pretty sweet, man.
I do want to say, like, one of the most fun times I ever had in all of Destiny was when we were chasing down. You guys were actually playing, I think, and we were trying to chase people down. And the Guardian one, our clan, Mark and our clan, we were trying to chase them down, and other people were obviously.
Oh, the Guardian radio bounty you're talking about?
Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. But there was a time when but Guardian 1, we were all trying to queue up at the same time, and you're watching and trying to, and other clans are also trying to queue up at the same time. And when we got queued up and it was obviously you didn't get the bounty, you queued up in another game against another team. Next thing you know, it turned into a dance off. We were like just dancing in the thing, right? It was one of the most epic videos that we ever made as a Guardian 1 as a clan, was in a dance off, because we were trying to chase them down to the Bungie bounty. We didn't get queued up. We got queued up with another clan. We start waving. We go to the middle of whatever map we were on, and we're having a dance party. It was hilarious, right? And then somebody gets supered, and they throw a Titan smash and kill everybody, and it was just hilarious. Those type of things and those type of silly little memories are what make the game great. You know what I mean? It's one of those things that it's a community centric event and game that this game is meant to be played with your friends, and if you're not doing that, you're missing the boat. So.
Well, I can tell you that it's a lot of fun for the people that are doing the Bungie bounty too. Mm-hmm. I mean, I had the opportunity of doing it in Destiny 1, and it's fun. I mean, I'm really glad to see them coming back and connecting with the community in this way. There is still a very positive population that's playing the game right now, mm-hmm. and I'd like to see them continue to highlight and lift them up. However, that being said, Cosmo, Dylan, and that is a stacked team for Bungie. They're not going to be pushovers. No. So you better there's not going to be a whole lot of people connecting. There's not a whole lot. The population of PC Destiny Crucible right now is not huge. So you have a really good chance of queuing up with them. I would get a team of Slayers together and go try it out, because there's no better time right now than to get that emblem.
I'd agree with that.
I wonder if it translates over to your console of choice, or does it have to be PC? Or I wonder if you can get it.
That's a good question, Paul. Yeah. I don't know.
Well, not to mention there are buffs if you're using a controller on PC now.
Mm.
You guys aware of these?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. For sure.
That's
specials.
Yeah, so a lot of people. I personally, I have a PC, and we ran the beta. Is amazing and runs awesome, and I use controller on PC. I do, and you're always obviously at a little bit of a disadvantage if you have a very skilled PC player playing PvP. You're at a disadvantage, but I think that aim assist and the things that they give you in buffs, so using a controller on PC, are going to help. So. If you're a PC player and you're just getting into Destiny and you're not a huge keyboard mouse guy, maybe you console and you made the convert over, you're gonna have some advantages as far as aim assist. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So
Mesa,
go get it
right here. This
Scuff.
Oh, Scuff.
Just literally plugging. Literally, there's tons of other. There's other brands out there, but I literally just plug this sucker into my computer
Absolutely. Yep.
and play on it. And
Boom,
it's
gone.
great.
Done. Perfect.
And
Yep.
the paddles on the end, there really isn't anything else besides, I mean, I haven't found anything else that really compares. There's nothing else I really want. The only thing that gives you a benefit is the dexterity of the keyboard and mouse, and the how quickly you can move versus an analog controller. But if you don't want to make the jump, you can still play with your friends on PC and just plug your controller straight in.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yep.
And you know what? I meant to mention that actually early on is with the new patch with 1.1.4 and so many of the speed boosts being tied to jumping, and how people are literally jumping beans now in the Crucible and all that. A controller like a Scuff or one of those other controllers with the paddles on the bottom help you out so much, because you're not taking your thumb off the stick to hit X or A, whatever it is you're hitting to jump. You're literally just tapping underneath, man. So it's like, I think having a controller like that now is a huge advantage.
Well, I don't think people understand the differences, and I don't want to make this sound like a use code Mesa Sean.
Mesa Army.
Mesa Army.
Mesa Army. Sorry. Is literally there's little devils in the details. Having the trigger stops and being able to fine tune how far you press it down. And I mean, like I have like really long triggers because I like to go like this I put one finger here.
You know what? I wish you would have came on the show and told Kate of that, Pope.
No, so Pope. So for like a month, my Sparrow would not effing go fast. I'm like, what the hell? I can run as fast as I can on my Sparrow, but it's because I
was getting so aggravated because I didn't even know. I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? My Sparrow is flying. How are you like way back there?
I wanted it to just be enough to make my hand cannon go off. But I didn't want to have to hold down as long. But then my Sparrow wouldn't go.
That's fun. I mean, there's a point where you can limit. You crank it down too far, and it really limits. Like you can stop from performing. But
the sweet spot is a fusion rifle. In Destiny 1, I would go down to Venus, and I would. I don't know why I always say that. I would always go to the Citadel. I would pull out a fusion rifle. I would get it so just the fusion rifle goes off. And then when you pull out a hand cannon, you start to see the hammer wanting to cock back a little bit. That's the sweet spot right there. If you go past it anything, as soon as you pull out the fusion goes right off, And it's the same thing with that stupid. Like the bottom line is like I can't run or jump without using one of these things anyway, especially like the impacts, because the PlayStation controllers, because I'm on PS4 Pro, the PS4 Pro is just the controller feels too small.
Yep.
And I'm so used to running and jumping, and especially with the new speed update, where I'm constantly Warlock kind of.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Sean. You're constantly jumping now.
It's constantly pressing this thing, this, and then sliding here.
Honestly, the whole reason I bought my Scuff controller last year at D2 at the convention, and the reason that I bought it is for trials for rezzing while I can shoot.
Yeah,
it's literally the reason that I got the Scuff, so I can res while I shoot.
Yep.
Period.
Crouched up and down too. A lot of PvP pros, like I notice this. If I'm going against a sweaty team, if I'm in a one-on-one gunfight and they start doing this crouching up and down thing, I know they got a Scuff, because there's this guy, Cool Guy Destiny. I'm a big fan of his, PvP scientist. I noticed that was one of the things he likes to do when he gets into one-on-one gunfights. He crouches up and down, totally throws the other person off. I'm not good at doing that just yet, because I end up putting down a rift. Because because I'm trying to press.
Oh yeah.
And also he goes like this, whoosh, and then next thing you know, I'm dead.
You're dead. Yeah. That's funny.
No, it's really a game changer for a lot of people.
That's
and
great.
It takes some getting used to, but once you get used to it, it's really good.
I'd say it took me about 2 weeks.
Yeah,
and then I could see
a lot of gameplay.
Market improvement.
2 weeks. Yeah,
I'm not supposed to say this, guys, but I recommend everyone get PS4 sticks. I think it helps with the learning curve. I personally, like a control freak on the left, the right stick or whatever. I just kind of felt like the regular Scuff sticks are cool and all, but if you're used to a PlayStation or used to an Xbox, PlayStation. If you're used to a PlayStation controller and you're used to those sticks, I think the learning curve is longer with getting used to those sticks. I know it was for me.
You mean the rounded versus the indented, or what do you mean?
Yeah. So
the Scuff sticks feel different than regular PS4 controllers.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. It's the rounded versus the indented.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Infinity Pros don't take them, but the Impacts do. So you can.
So there is a ridiculous benefit to once you get comfortable with them. You're right. Mesa. There's that first step, and then after that, you start realizing that messing around with concave versus the rounded tops really helps with your performance and how you move around the map. But yeah, I feel like we're like a commercial right now.
The last 10 minutes of Guardian Radio brought to you by Scuff.
Right, for the average player, it will make you better, and that's the facts.
Yep. All right, let's move on here, guys, to our clan spotlight, the part of the show where we spotlight a clan. So if you're looking for a clan, hey, here's one for you. You know, you can go send us an email, feedback@theguardiansofdestiny.com. Be sure to put in the subject line clan spotlight. And if you want your clan spotlighted here on the show, you guys are looking for some members, send us emails. Or if you're looking for a clan, here is a clan for you. So, K-Dub, who do we have this week, man?
We have also, look, if you want to, I prefer, honestly, that people go to our website, go to the clan spotlight page and fill out the form. It comes to me directly in a sheet. It's great, but you can do it either way. But what we have today is a PS4 clan. And I honestly, I have to say, I guiltily chose this one because it seems like it's a Titan clan. And it's Team Punch Face.
Yes.
But it's pretty short and sweet. It says, our clan started in Destiny 1 just as a group of friends who play together. I started recruiting for D2 towards the end of D1's life cycle, knowing it would be more important in D2. Then the mass exodus came, and we slowly began rebuilding active players, but we need more. We are very accepting and easy to get along with. Our clan is currently at 48 members, and we definitely want to get bigger. We average 6 to 8 players on the daily. We're trying to grow this. So the person's contact is on PSN. It's Jedi Holocron, and I'm going to spell that. JEDI HOLOCRON. Jedi Holocron on PSN. Holocron. So Team Punch Face on PS4. If you're looking for a group that they've got 6 to 8 people on daily looking to do activities and they want to grow, hey, hit those guys up, help them grow. And they're a PS4 clan. If you're looking for somebody to play with, go hit them up.
Yeah, man. All right, well, let's move on here to our final segment, the part of the show where we give you a voice here on the show that we call Messages from the City. Don't forget you can email us feedback@theguardiansofdestiny.com, just like Ghost Bed Hunter did, and he said, Rumble is currently under a lot of criticism, and rightfully so. The spawns are clearly the worst in the history of Destiny, and Destiny is not known for its great spawns. But I absolutely love how there is an engagement around every corner. I love the chaos and the quick decision-making you are forced into. I love the back-to-back kills. I love the idea, but the execution is lacking a bit. My concern is that I hear many YouTubers and streamers talking about reducing the players in the match clear down to 5. That's crazy boring, but it's a catch-22. Less players means better spawns, but too few players in the game mode would lose what's great about it. I don't know what the answer is. Maybe 7, but definitely not 5. So thanks for sending that in, Ghost Bedhead Hunter. What do you think, Pope? I'll throw it to you first, man. I know you earlier said 6. What do you think?
I think that they can start messing around with it. I don't know the answer either. I know we're at a place where something needs to get done. It's a game mode that I'd love to see them tweak a little bit and take us out of those spawn traps that they've got us in right now. Yeah. So I suggested 6, but it could easily have been 7. I like the chaos of Rumble, but I don't like being shot in the back from a spawn that I just stepped out of.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, I've had an instance where I had a guy, I think I just had picked up power, and I had rocket, and the guy spawned in front of me, and of course he had the overshield. I still shot, I can't think of it right now, what's the raid rocket? With the cluster bombs. I shot it.
Yeah, Sins of the Past.
Sins of the Past, hit him, and then the cluster bombs took him out. And like, I killed him, and I was like, man, I kind of felt bad. I was like, oh, shit, I probably shouldn't have did that, but whatever, man, I'll take the kill. But, you know, that shouldn't happen. Like, that should not even be a possibility to be happening.
Agreed.
So, and, you know, I know spawns, you know, that could fix it where the spawn locations are. But even still, you know, I think that just bringing the number down, I think we do it.
Honestly, though, Mark,
we say 6 now, but I don't know. I mean, like, let's let Bungie figure that out. Because remember, the Rumble in Destiny 1 was 6, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So
that's correct.
These maps are smaller than Destiny 1, so maybe 5 might be a sweet. I don't think 4 would be
no.
too little.
4 is where we came from.
5 or
6,
I would think. Right. Yeah.
Yep.
8's a little too much, I think. I mean, I was on Burnout with 8 people, and it was insane.
You can't go to 5. I mean, you can't go to another different type of team styles where 4, number 6, number 5. Like, come on already. Like, let's
Yeah.
make this up, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you change the maps for Rumble to be more 6, accommodating. I don't know.
I think it would be fun to do stuff that they'd, with Rumble moving forward. I'd like to see Rumble stay, like I said, as a meat and potatoes playlist, but on something that, those special events. It would be fun for them to do things like they've done in the past in other first-person shooters, where they highlight the person in the lead in a mayhem playlist, a mayhem Rumble, and then the top player gets highlighted on everybody's map, a heads up, and so that you're hunting that person.
Working together, but not
right.
Right.
Like, and you get extra points for killing the person that's in the lead, right?
Yep.
So there's interesting ways of making Rumble a seasonal rotating playlist, but it shouldn't be it should be just straight there all the time, the regular standard version of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Agreed. Let's see. We got one more email here we're going to read, and this one comes to us from Rohiran. And they say, hello, Guardian Radio. Rohiran from the Xbox side here. I've been listening to the random roles debate, and I have had an idea. What if instead of bringing back random roles, we have unique mods to put in our guns? If you want your better devils to act like the AS Luna of old, equip a mod which would give you the perks needed. Or you pop in a mod that makes it work like the last word. You could even have exotic mods that would turn your pulse rifle into a bad juju. Listening to the older posts from Luke Smith and the rest, I wonder if that's what they had originally wanted for the mods. Going this route would mean that they don't have to scrap and remake the entire weapon platform. If you made these drop from bosses, it would become the carrot on the stick for many players. Anyway, that's just a thought that's been rambling around in my head for a while now. This might even be what Mods 2.0 turns into. What are your thoughts on the subject? Awoken Hammer Titan over and out. Yeah,
That's a great idea.
Yeah,
I mean, like the key to customization is, and I've always said this like a broken record, is allow us to use Banshee to either provide him with blueprints or schematics or go on quests to get something to create and craft our own mods to make our personalized god roll, whatever.
Yep.
But then when you go into PvP, it's just the base Better Devils or base whatever gun that is, so that this way PvP is balanced. But in PvE, you could go in and feel like a god with Better Devils, with Outlaw and extra range and this and that. So there's a lot of different ways it can go about this. Obviously, they're putting a lot of thought into it because Mods 2.0 was on the roadmap and then it got moved and now it's off the roadmap. So I got a feeling they're really putting a lot of time into that. And it'll be interesting to see. But I really hope they make us chase something for it. You know what I mean? If we don't get random rolls back. But it is on the top of their list. Remember, Cosmo listed the top things that are on their list that they want to address. And random rolls is definitely one of them.
Yep. I've got a really good thought on this, and I've been thinking about this for a while. So mods have such potential to be amazing.
Yeah.
But so what I really like about this is talking about a boss, or a strike infused type of mod. So if you take down a certain boss, it might help you for a certain type of a PvE function. Or in a raid, you take down a raid boss, you get a certain type of a mod that will help you in that raid, kind of like we're looking at perks from our raid weapons, right?
Right. Yep.
Versus if you're doing PvE all the time, your PvE, when you get drops at the end of a PvE map or a PvP match, could give you a PvP mod that's really good for PvP and make them specific to those activities.
Yeah.
There's just really cool things like if you kill a la cool, right? You get a specific mod that was going to help you in some sort of a certain type of a PvE activity against that type of enemy, or in the raid, a raid mod, or in PvP, a PvP mod, and make it specific to those activities that give you a carrot to chase for something that you want to achieve to help your gun in that activity. I think that's a great idea.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of us hope Mods 2.0 is going to be. And what we see, and like you said, K-Dub, inside the raid mods right now, inside the raid armor, we see like the Giving Hand and the mods that help inform. For a small cost, you can change around your mods, and you can fine-tune the way you play the game, and it can help you with the more prestigious or harder versions of it.
Right.
I think there is a way that it can be seen in PvP. But it would make those you know how right now Iron Banner and Trials of the Nine used to be where your power level mattered. I don't think it's been that way for a while. Like, you have to be just basically starting the game for it to matter.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So it would be nice to see some of those mods come out of that, where, you know, you could affect your, you know, challenge. You could improve your downscale your power level and challenge yourself to compete against players in the competitive playlist. There are ways that they could challenge you to do that and make it interesting for the end game grind of hardcore players, without ruining the experience for others.
Yeah.
But I just feel that that's what Mod 2.0 is what they're directing towards. And Mesa, I think you're right. That's a lot. That's a huge ask, because they have to redesign basically every piece of armor in the entire game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully we'll get well, actually Mods 2.0 now has been pushed to the fall, right? As far as we
it's
know.
off the
it's
just off the roadmap. Yeah.
Right. You're
So
probably
we'll
looking at September.
See what that is.
Right.
But all right. Well, guys, I think that's a wrap. This is the longest episode we've
wrap.
done in a long time, guys. I think
Because we had a
Let's
guest.
talk about.
yeah.
Mr. Pope Bear.
Mr. Pope, General
Hey.
Pope is the guest, man. Glad to have you here,
Does
Pope.
Pope
Man.
know
glad
how
to
to
have
do
you
the
on, man.
death
Finally have
groan
you on
is
the
what
show.
I need to know.
What,
The
Kato?
death groan?
We'll get to that. I just want to say just real quick, you know, Pope Bear, the DCP podcast, Guardian Radio, you know, Swain, you know, we will be flying the Destiny flag high at Guardian Con, okay?
Yeah.
Yep.
So
If you want to come to the tower,
Yeah.
at
The tower will be,
Destiny,
you know,
There will
hopefully
be a
our
few
booths will be
towers
close
set
to each
around
other.
Guardian
Exactly.
Con and
We're
DCP
gonna have
and
multiple
Guardian Radio.
towers.
will
You know
be
what? One could be the tower, one could be the farm, one could be, I don't know, but
we'll be the
set up.
tower. You guys can be the farm.
Yeah, we'll be the
Hey.
farm. I think that's what we're going to be.
I
We'll
wanted
just
to
dress
kinda
Caleb
get
up
out-
in a chicken suit. That's all, dude.
I
I'll
just wanted to
ask,
get out there,
yeah.
You know, like people, look, Guardian Con I know is stemming off into different games and all sort of stuff, but it's still Destiny at its core. The people that play Destiny are going to be there, and just want to put that out there that we'll be flying the flag high. So,
Yeah, I think it's I think if we all ask, you know, the guys there that are putting it together to make a contingent or put us in the same vicinity, that would be a lot of fun. I think that our fans are going to be there, and it's going to be fun to check it out. I mean, we've got some really fun stuff planned. We've partnered with a computer company to put together something in our booth that it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be giving away a computer at Guardian Con, so
Awesome,
it's going to be a blast.
yeah.
I have so much fun going last year that we've doubled down on our space and what we're planning, and
Awesome, dude.
I'm excited to have everybody show up.
Pope, give
We
everybody
also
real
have
quick
a
here,
bunch
man.
of really
I'm
cool,
sure if they're tuning into this, they probably know a lot of the plugs. But give everybody the plugs where they can find you guys. I mean, now you've shifted. Even your Twitter now is DCP Live. So
Yeah.
give them all those new plugs and all that. You said you guys, recently shifted over
absolutely.
on Twitch and all that. Shoot it out.
Yeah. So the easiest way to find us is on Twitter at DCP_live. And we're covering more than just Destiny now. We are also covering other games. We're doing Let's Plays. Our Twitch channel is twitch.tv/DCP_live. And so is our YouTube. And we are having a blast with Destiny, but we're also playing, Sea of Thieves, and we're playing Golf It, and we're playing tons of other stuff, and just having a good time. So come on over and hang out.
Cool.
Awesome, man.
Awesome. Sean, you got anything here, man, at the end?
Nope, just the usual. Everyone, thanks for hanging out in chat, all the sponsors. And I will be live tomorrow streaming the Nightfalls, and hopefully it's one of the new ones with some new strike-specific loot. I'll have the reset video for you guys up tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern, and I'll be live at 3:30 p.m. Eastern streaming some Nightfalls tomorrow.
Nice.
Right here on YouTube.
All right, Pope. Well, what Kata was referring to is at the end of every episode. This has been going on for probably over 200
What do you
episodes
sound like
now.
when you die?
When you die, it was called the Awoken Death Groan. So it was, I don't know, Watts, one of our old hosts, he brought up what an Awoken would sound like when they're dying. And so this is just every episode we end that way. So you got to go out with us here, man. Just giving us your best death groan that you can. So Everybody here, thank you as always for tuning into the show. However you're tuning in, whether it's through Podbean, through iTunes, through YouTube. Everybody over live on YouTube, thank you guys for tuning in. And with that, we'll catch you next week. Later.
Ladies. Pope there, come on. Pope on the audio version, it sounds better.
I always have a hairball. Why do I have a hairball all the time?
The music's playing in the background while we do all our death groan, and then I slip in a little.
It's fun.
Some Yoda.
Oh, man.
Now, this is a blast, guys. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Yeah,
Thanks
no
for
doubt,
coming on, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when Dads of Destiny was folding up shop, the podcast. I was like, man, I wish I could get a spot to just come and hang out at Guardian Radio, and you guys had a full squad then.
Six, I think at that point, man.
Yeah, and I was like, there's no way I'm going to get on that podcast, and so I reached over to Planet Destiny, and I said, "Hey guys, you want another?" And it was just Patrick and let's see, Patrick and Tefty. No, Patrick and Breyer and who was it? There was a Sir Wallen, right?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he used to be over there.
Guy. Yeah,
like the episodes, 2 or 3 episodes at that point, right? And then I joined up with them, and the rest is history. But
that's awesome. Yeah.
Did Planet Destiny just recently fold up shop?
Yeah, dude, I saw that, man.
The website too, planetdestiny.com.
If you're still there as a database, but if you got some money together, you can buy it.
If I knew anything about coding, I'd buy it, right?
Wow.
Yeah, they got a lot of assets for sure. And it's kind of difficult though. We're still live?
Yeah.
Actually, why don't we do our little? Yeah, why don't we cut off the stream? Everyone, thanks for hanging out. We're gonna chat with Pope for a little bit off stream. Yep. You guys are awesome. We'll leave you a hashtag. Made it to the end if you did make it to the end. Here. And thanks so much for hanging out in chat, guys. We love you all. And that's it, guys.
Later.